All right. Hello, everybody. Carol, come on. Get your seat. Come on. Uh, welcome. Welcome to Town Hall. We are going to start this Town Hall off with Maria. So, Maria, if you want to come up.
Thanks, Sean. Hello, friends. I'm Maria La Sala, the Spiritual Care Coordinator at Whitney Center. It's always good to be with you at our town meetings. A few weeks ago, as I was leaving Whitney Center to head for home, I heard the sounds of geese, loud honking, as geese will do. It was dusk. The sky not bright, but not quite dark either. I looked up and wasn't surprised to see a flock of geese flying above me in that familiar V formation. You know that geese tend to fly in formation. There's usually one goose at the head, with the rest of the flock flying behind in two separate lines. But do you know that the goose at the front doesn't stay the leader the whole time? No, the leader is only a leader for a bit of their journey, eventually trading off with another goose, and then that leader trades off with another goose, and so on. Geese do that so that the one leader doesn't get too tired. I've also learned that geese like to share leadership because they know that others in the flock are just as capable of leading. In fact, many possess the gifts that help to keep the flock steady, safe, and on the right path. Why, you might be wondering, am I spending time today telling you about geese flying in the evening sky? Keep listening. It will soon make sense. Friends, 5 years ago this week, we entered a time like no other. COVID-19 arrived and shattered so much of what was familiar. Suddenly, we were told to stay put. If you were living at Whitney Center at that time, you will remember that we immediately ceased our programs. Dining services became home delivery, and a lot of us turned to Channel 102 for daily updates and entertainment. A Whitney Center newsletter was created, offering games and jokes and inspirational quotes. Town meetings like this one were presented via your television, each administrator speaking from those individual boxes, sharing information to keep us connected to one another. How many of us thought back then, oh, this will just be for a few weeks, maybe a month? We were learning the odd phrase, social distancing. We made do with what was right around us. With family visits suspended, we FaceTimed or Zoomed. We stayed home. We survived. It wasn't easy. But we stayed in formation, so to speak, and followed our leaders, knowing they were doing their best to keep us safe and strong. When I look back at that time, I think about one from our community who took the lead for this flock and kept us on a steady path forward. Peggy Joyce, Vice President for Clinical Services, bravely and with great compassion led us through the pandemic to this day. We listened attentively to Peggy, following her instructions about mask wearing and hand washing. We listened as she gave us statistics, helping us to understand the gravity of this pandemic. And when the time finally came, she organized vaccination clinics and made sure that all who wanted to receive a vaccine did so. Sometimes Peggy had to be tough, reminding us that we were a community, and that meant we needed to abide by the rules not just for her own safety, but for the safety of all. But even when she had to scold us, she did so with kindness and love. Peggy will be stepping down from her role as Vice President of Clinical Services at the end of this month, and Michelle Ackerman will step in to guide, protect, and encourage us. You already know that when the lead goose finishes her term, she doesn't disappear. She moves back in the line and follows where the new leader will take the flock. In front of her are many who will feel very confident knowing their former leader has their back, literally and figuratively. Peggy, thank you, thank you, thank you for all you have done to keep us healthy and strong. Thank you. Five years ago, we were resilient, creative, determined to keep on. We learned to be a little bit more patient, more generous, more grateful. We learned that it was okay to acknowledge our sadness and grief over what had been lost and how much had changed. And speaking of grief, I know it is never easy to lose a friend at Whitney Center, to hear about the death of someone we've come to know and care about. Today, I invite you to remember Alphonse Mitchell, Roberta Thornton, Alan Sterensayer, Jane Moretz, and Fran Tabor. They were our companions on this journey, and we give thanks for their lives lived among us. Whitney Center is full of amazing leaders who emerge just when we need them. You know this is true when you elect the residents who will serve on the Residents' Council. Each bring their own gifts, and new ideas emerge, new ways of doing things take place, and we keep on. Before I close my remarks, I want to welcome the newest member of the Community Resource Team, Martine Liberté George, who began her work as our well-being coordinator this week. Martine, I'm going to invite you to stand and wave to the Whitney Center community. We are excited that you are here, and we look forward to your leadership among us. I want to say one more thing about geese flying in formation. Geese never eat or journey alone. They have an amazing sense of community. And so do we at Whitney Center. So do we. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Look how she hugs Peggy over there. When Peggy scolds me, there's no love. Now we're going to move on, and John Tully has a few words.
Just a few words from the Residents' Council. One is that the Residents' Council put a table outside the bistro 2 weeks ago with Chris Johnson and Judith Normandin were at the table, and lots of residents stopped by, and there was good interaction both ways, new ideas for us and for them. So we plan to continue that. The last Thursday of every month, I think, we'll put a table out. So that's one thing. The second thing I wanted to mention is the Whitney Center puts out this page called the Ancillary Price List that has all kinds of useful information, things about how much it costs to have transportation outside the local region, how much it costs for extra housekeeping, meals, IT help. So some of the questions we get are answered on that page, and it's easy to find it. It's in the resident's guide and up to date because they keep the guide up to date, so it's great. And it's an appendix in the guide, so you just have to scroll to the bottom and you can get all this great information. So I encourage you to take a look at that. Thanks.
All right. So thank you, John. And we're going to bring up Melissa. There she is. All right.
Morning, everyone. I'm Melissa DeGran, Resident Services Manager, and I oversee the reception and transportation team. A couple questions were brought up at the Resident Council meeting on Monday. First question, why do we charge for non-local rides? We never did charge before. I would like to go back a bit to explain. Before COVID, we charged for non-local rides. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we chose not to charge transportation fees to support our residents during a challenging time. We wanted to make essential travel more accessible, ensuring that individuals could still access healthcare and essential services without added stress. By not charging a fee, we prioritize community well-being and try to make things a little bit easier during an uncertain period. After the peak of COVID-19 pandemic, we reassumed charging regular transportation fees to ensure the sustainability of our services. During the pandemic, we adjusted to support our community, but as conditions improved and the demand returned to normal levels, we needed to cover the increased costs of operations such as staff, maintenance, and safety measures. Reinstating the standard fees help us maintain high-quality service while continuing to support both our residents and the business in the long term. Our local rides consist of Hamden, New Haven, and the North Haven area. Second question, are there free rides for veterans? There are. The VA hospital does offer free rides only to medical appointments. And the reception desk has that number, and I also do too. And then the second place is Veteran Ride for Free. We also have that phone number, so you're more than welcome. We could reach out to them too. Third question, where to find information about transportation? We can contact the North or South reception team. We can go on K4 to access the resident guide for information. We can find information in our pamphlets located at the north and south reception desks. I just want to thank all of you for your continued support and understanding. As we move forward, we're committed to providing the best possible service and maintaining the quality you expect. We truly appreciate your trust in us, and we look forward to serving you with dedication and care. Together, we will continue to make progress and create positive experiences to everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Alda. Any questions? Darn it. No. Yes, I have a mic. Oh, you don't.
Thank you very much for all that extra detail. I am asking for an additional service to be considered as far as
Okay.
having information available at the front desk teams as well as yourself. And it's something that Thrive at Home, and I don't know if Michelle Pandolfi is here to verify, they were using or are still using something called Go Grandparent. And the advantage of this additional service is you don't need an app to
Yep.
call up an Uber or a Lyft or a taxi outside the regular hours of Whitney Center transportation. All you need is a phone number.
Oh, nice.
So I
all right.
have the brochure. I even used my own ink to print this out, this great big blue brochure. So please consider including this information available to all the residents, because there are some that definitely are challenged by technology,
Yep,
and they deserve to also have convenience outside the regular hours.
that's perfect. I'll meet up with you after. Oh,
I just want to add this bit of information I found out yesterday. For those of you who use Apex Pharmacy, they're doing the same thing you did. They had stopped transportation fees for a few years. Starting yesterday, they're charging $3 a delivery, and I just wanted everybody to know.
thank you. Anything else? Sorry. No? Okay. Next up on the list is Sean. Yay!
Melissa, before you move on, we have one more question.
Oh, one more question. Sorry, Sean.
Well, it's actually a solution. For those with low vision,
Yep.
I've been using GoGo Grandparent for years, and the reason is you don't have to write anything down.
Okay.
It's strictly verbal.
Nice.
So,
All right.
that's it.
We'll add it to the list. Thank you. Sean?
All right, thank you, Melissa. So as usual, when I host, I try to move myself up in the ranking. So I'm going to give you the marketing report. Not a lot has changed. There are 11 apartments available still for reservation. 82% of them are one bedroom, and 18% of them are two bedroom, and all of them are in the north. So, we haven't had as many releases as we have in past years. So I don't see that trend changing all that much in the next couple of months. We have had 5 releases so far this year. We currently have 5 apartments that are reserved or on hold. So we have 4 people who are going through the approval process, and we have one couple who has been approved, and you will see them as a new neighbor end of March, very beginning of April. We're anticipating that other move I was talking about. Year to date, about 33% of the moves have been in the north, and 66% of the moves have been in the south. But again, I'm going to point out, we've had 1 move in the north and 2 in the south. So, as we move more people in, those percentages will change. We remain 95% reserved and occupied, and we're 93% occupied because we have had a couple of releases. The wait list has crossed the 50 household number, so we're starting to see that go up. To date, we have moved 5 residents in. Meadow Mills across the street, we've increased by 1, which is a good thing because we decreased by 2. So we're continuing to work on that, and we're working with 3 outside groups. And then we also have partnered with an outside provider who helps families find memory support, assisted living, those types of things. Thrive at Home, we added 4 new members in February, which was great. We have 4 applications that are now in process. And we have 109 active members in Thrive at Home. So with that, I will open the floor up to any questions that you might have. All right, a quiet group. So I will end with this. Where's Lynn? There she is. Why did the cookie go to the hospital? Why did the cookie go to the hospital? Because he was feeling crummy. All right. It's a high bar, Lynn. It's a high bar. All right. And with the marketing update complete, we'll bring up Maria Freda for her update.
Hi, everyone. I don't know about you, but time is flying by. I feel like I just did this, actually. Spring is approaching, and I've noticed blooms in my garden, and that's wonderful, and it fills me with joy. Similarly, I see signs of growth here at Whitney Center. A growth mindset is breaking through the soil. I'm Maria Freda, the Community Engagement Coordinator, and my role is to create opportunities that engage you, spark curiosity, and foster new experiences that bring people together. I truly enjoy my work, but it brings me even greater joy when I see residents stepping in to do my job, and sometimes doing it even better than I do. Many of you will recall the exciting discussions about renovating the 6th floor commons and transforming the Memory Support Kitchen into an art studio. Well, the commons renovation requires extensive planning, which is underway. Converting the Memory Support Kitchen into a studio, which started slowly, is now bustling with activity. To those residents who are unsure or believe they couldn't paint or draw, look at you now. Introducing a new acrylics class and multimedia classes, which began with just 3 to 5 students, has gained remarkable momentum. I'm thrilled to share that the acrylic class has grown to 13 students. And you all raised the bar by expressing your desire for a more challenging intermediate level. I also want to applaud all of those brave first-time painters who dove right in and said, yes, I can do this. And what excites me too are the residents working in the craft studio with Lucienne, drawing with Nancy Leiserwitz, those participating in watercolor painting thanks to Floyd Kaplan, Whitney Center professors who are now creating curriculums to offer exciting and engaged learning programs for this spring and summer. And especially a special shout out goes to the residents in the South Building who have taken ownership of creating the Cafe on Main. This process is truly a social experiment, and because you're just not thinking, you're rethinking your sense of community, which is really wonderful. Our approach to living and playing here is evolving just as the seasons change. Even something as simple as enjoying a coffee with a friend in a new space can evoke that feeling, demonstrating that trying something different can make a real difference. The spirit of change isn't just limited to our community on this side of Leader Hill. It also is happening in the health center, where since our move, meaning Mike, Ken, and I, moved to the health center, administration and staff are building new relationships. Over at Meadow Mills, residents and staff are making brownies together for the first time. And the residents there are also reading aloud to each other and with each other, thanks to the fantastic Reading to Connect program. It's a vision to behold. So a round of applause to all of you that are making all of this possible. You really have much to be proud of, and just keep blooming, as they say. There is more spring news. 2 upcoming events on campus. One is next Tuesday at 3 p.m. when the Little Petting Zoo will be here again with their spring babies. And the dance floor will be opened up, rolled out for a spring fling with Over Easy on Friday, March 28th, starting at 7:30 in the CAC. There's also going to be a special presentation on the, believe it or not, on the art of Trader Joe's that's happening here on April 10th. For those of you enjoy creating off-campus, there's the fabulous trip to Lost in New Haven, which is on March 26th, and a visit to the Aldrich Museum on April 9th. Those of you who have already registered, you're already signed up, and you're already on the roster. So those trips are full. I'll also be planning visits to the newly renovated Center for British Art and the New Britain Museum, and a few other day trips for the spring and summer calendar. And there will be more digital news about, more news about the digital photography and sewing classes, and more of that will follow. The calendar is so busy that it's really full, and we have to remember that we, the outside world works on other time other than Whitney Center time. So we have to make things happen. Mark your calendars for the John Walsh lectures, which will be streamed here on April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. The location, whether it's here in the CAC or on the 6th floor, is yet to be determined because of other things already scheduled for the spaces. I also would like to, and excited to introduce 2 volunteer projects. One is called Knitted Knockers, and that's for our knitting enthusiasts. And yeah, it's great that it might bring a chuckle because it's an innovative and an international program with over 6,500 knitting groups that are knitting and crocheting handmade breast prosthesis for women who have undergone mastectomies and lumpectomies. So I know I've already mentioned this to Chris Johnson, but if anyone is interested in knitting, learning how to knit, one of the organizers from the group is willing to come to Whitney Center to work with you and make this a really pleasant opportunity for not only you, but for the recipients who need to wear them. And the other is a research study out of Southern Connecticut State University that explores people's answers to questions. When have you been or will be your best self? It's a thought-provoking, it's an 8-page survey, but what it is meant to do is to identify if life optimism, it says the current project seeks to identify if life optimism and a growth mindset about aging predicts seeing one's best self in the future. So if you are interested in participating in that, I do have the surveys, and it can be anonymous. I think they're really most interested in your age more than anything else. And then 2 other last things before I close is Arnie Heiser reminded me that tonight is the total lunar eclipse, also known as the the blood moon. So if you're interested and want to learn more about it, please see Arnie. He'll be happy to share that with you. Evidently, the eclipse doesn't happen till around midnight. So if you want to set your alarms or be up, you'll be able to see it firsthand, but he can tell you all about it. And then lastly, because we live in such a creative and enthusiastic environment, I'd like by a show of hands, how many of you would be interested in a ceramics class here at Whitney Center, complete with a kiln and throwing wheels? All right, raise them high, because I got to see that. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we'll see what we can do. All right, so does anyone have any questions? Oh, also, you pen pallers, the letters are coming. Unfortunately, some of the students had some delays, and the organizer had some delays, but I should get the letters in the mail, hopefully by today, or if not tomorrow. Yes?
Maria, First of
ma'am.
all, those are wonderful things that are going on.
Yes.
And we're really lucky to have you here.
Thank you.
I have a
Oh,
question.
thank you.
Yeah. Are we able to think of any of the longer extended trips that we've taken in the past, like to Manhattan or Tanglewood or whatever?
We certainly can talk about it, but if you are well aware, Donna McLennan, who is our weekend receptionist, has been able to organize much longer trips. She has several of them already posted. But, access to a bus that allows for that farther travel is the main issue for kind of out longer trips overall, going to Manhattan and things like that. And there's also the cost, of course, involved in that. But anyone who wants to do that, please let me know. I'll talk to Donna because she seems to be able to have a better relationship with some of the coach companies. Melissa, I don't know if those longer trips can work for us, but we can talk about it at another time, offline. Okay, so if that's it, it's my pleasure to introduce Rafaela Villa. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm Rafaela Villa, Vice President of Technology Services, and I have a few things to actually share this morning. Starting with the Wi-Fi, we are going to make some changes to our Wi-Fi system. Currently, if you have a new device, a tablet, laptop, phone, maybe those picture frames that we see around Christmas time, you have to contact IT, and IT has to connect those devices to your Wi-Fi account. And the reason you have to call IT is because we have to register the device's unique serial number to the Wi-Fi system. It's the only way it's going to make that connection. And that comes with some challenges for us and some delays for you, having to wait for IT to come and connect your device. So what we are doing is we are moving away from that serial number system to a passkey system, like a traditional Wi-Fi, whereas we are going to provide every resident their own unique password to your Wi-Fi. And we're going to go ahead and put those on a little magnet that we hope you would keep on your refrigerator. So that way, when you have family that comes over and they want to get online, they don't have to contact IT either. You can just simply give them your private passkey, and they can join your Wi-Fi. We're looking to make that change sometime end of April. However, what that's going to require us to do is we have to visit all of the residential apartments, all of your homes, and reconnect all of your existing devices to Wi-Fi. But we've learned that there are over 907 Wi-Fi devices in the community. So you're all very connected. So we'll get a memo out sort of explaining when we're going to do that. And we'll schedule all of that. It's probably going to take us a week to get through that process. However, during that week, there will be no downtime for you as we transition, okay? The week of April 8th, this is for the North Building only. The week of April 8th, we are going to relocate some infrastructure that manages the internet and Wi-Fi system. And that is going to cause an outage. Significant outage. We expect that we're going to see about 8 hours of Wi-Fi outage at a time. So we're not going to do this whole thing in one day. We're going to take this in stages. So what we're planning on doing is, as we move equipment in one closet to its new home, that will impact, let's say, apartments 200 through 220. So those apartments will be without internet for probably most of the day, a good 8 hours. And then the next day, we'll move on to the next one, which might affect apartments 221 through maybe 240, et cetera. So we're going to coordinate that. We're going to communicate what days you can expect your internet to not be working. And if you do have a need to, if you have a mobile device and you still need to get online, just want to remind you that with a laptop or a phone or a tablet, you are able to still connect to internet in common areas, right? This is going to impact the Wi-Fi in your apartment, but you might be able to go to the business center or the bistro or some other location to get online while we do that work, okay? So we'll get that memo and we'll announce how that's going to go. Again, for our North Building folks, I'm sure, I believe everyone has probably noticed that on either the right side or the left side of your door, your entrance door, there's a little plastic tab. And that tab is there. It's a way for us to kind of take a look and ensure that you're okay, that you're safe, right? What happens is every day at midnight, someone from our nursing team walks through all of the north residential corridors and takes that little tab and flips it up, and it leans against your door. Then the next day, around lunchtime, someone from the nursing team walks through all of the residential hallways to look to see if the tab has fallen, right? To give us the indicator that you've opened your door, you've at least come out of your apartment. And in the instances where they don't see that tab has fallen, they'll knock on your door. They'll want to check to see if you're safe. It's a very manual process. It takes us 2 hours every day to go through that, right? And we're taking up nursing time to do that task. What we are going to do is we're going to extend the system that we already have in the South Building. It's an electronic system. Rather than using a little door tab in the South Building, we have a little door sensor that provides notice to the nursing team electronically to say, hey, we've noticed that this resident in apartment 2113 hasn't opened their door today. You might need to do a safety check. So we're going to extend that system to the north, do away with the little mechanical tab. It's a very small sensor, very thin strip, about 6 inches in length, that we will stick to the interior portion of the apartment right above the door. And it's essentially going to do the same thing. Rather than having to walk through the apartments, I will try to speak slower, thank you. Rather than walking through all of the corridors, technology will assist us in that. Let's see. I want to talk a little bit about TV options. So we hear from time to time that sometimes you want a little bit more. You want the ability to record television. You want an interactive guide. You want more channels. You want different sports channels. And what I want to remind everyone is that today you don't have to just stick to the Whitney Center television system. There are options for you. There are other TV services like Hulu, YouTube TV, DirecTV Stream, which is actually one that we recommend. There are just countless systems out there that you can access and you can subscribe to that will give you more content, more features than what we are able to provide through our TV system. So please reach out to IT if you feel that you just want a little bit more from the TV system, and we can actually recommend TV apps that you can subscribe to expand those features for you. And this is a little risky to demonstrate this, but I'm going to take a shot. So we are looking for the, we're trying to integrate the Amazon Echo technology. If you're not familiar with an Amazon Echo, it's a voice-assistive device. It's like the size of a softball, and you can talk to it. You can ask it to give you a reminder. You can ask it what the weather is, what time it is. You can ask it to play your favorite music, and it'll do that. What we are exploring, and that we're in the early stages, is to connect the Amazon Echo to the K4 system. And this actually helps us solve for maybe some residents that have visual impairments that can't navigate K4 on a computer, or some residents that just don't have the technology or have a hard time with it, period. So I'm going to demonstrate it, and sometimes she doesn't want to behave. So very risky, but let me try to at least demonstrate what we're talking about. Alexa, ask K4 what's for dinner.
Would you like to choose the Bistro restaurant?
No.
Would you like to choose the Center Stage restaurant?
Yes.
Here's what's available on daily dinner at Center Stage for today for dinner. The soup is beef barley. The salad is Greek salad. The entrees are braised short ribs, miso glazed cod, and quinoa stuffed portobello. The sides are grilled vegetables and mashed carrots and turnips. The dessert is chocolate extravaganza.
Sounds yummy. Thank you. Let's try this one. Alexa, ask K4, what are my notices today?
There are 6 notices. From Lynn Nostri, this week's chef special in Center Stage. Shrimp scampi served over spaghetti with a garlic, lemon, white wine sauce. From Janet Fowler, in remembrance. Let us come together to celebrate the life of Francis Tabor, who passed away on March 11, 2025. The family will be sitting Shiva on Monday, March 17th from 12 o'clock until 4 p.m. in apartment 2506. All are welcome. From Lynn
Alexa,
Not.
off,
Bye-bye.
right? We'll try one more. Alexa, what are today's events?
Okay, here's K4 Community. Today, at 10:20 a.m. there is 10-minute standing stretches, C102, in the channel 102. At 10:30 a.m. there is town meeting, CAC in the Cultural Arts Center. At 11 a.m. there is aquatic exercise, pee in the pool.
Alexa, off.
Until next time.
All right, so you get the point, right? So other things that potentially we're going to be able.
I can't let this go. Please don't pee in the pool.
What's that? What's it say?
Just pee in the pool.
That's funny. So the ability to call each other via the Alexa, like call Raphael, call Bob, call Tom, right? You can have those conversations rather than on a telephone. You can just speak through the Echo. What are the events on Friday? What are the events on Thursday? And we're also looking at the ability for you to be able to create a work order for housekeeping, IT, and maintenance by asking her to do so. So fun stuff, early stages, but once we test that a little bit more, we'll work with the Communications and Tech Committee and think about rollout, cost, those types of things. Baxter, you have a question?
Yeah, can you define what the device is? It's Echo, but I've got one that I think of as Alexa, or I think of it as a dot or something.
Yep, there are different models. I'm going to go ahead and unplug her. There are different models of an Echo. The one that we are going to recommend here is this little round one. There are some that are taller, some that are very small. No, we are going to work with one specific model so that we don't have 5 different versions on the community, and it's easier for us to support, right? Dina, you have a question? That answer? Yours?
Does that mean I have to give up my Hey Google and go to Hey Alexa?
If you want the ability to ask K4, then you could
Okay.
keep both. No reason to get rid of Google.
Right, okay.
I think we still need a little bit more information. Can you buy this device on Amazon? If so, about how much? And does
Yeah.
it require that we hook it up as opposed to the other devices we have?
So still in the early stages of figuring this thing out, right? We're working on the integration right now. What we do know is if you already have your own Echo, in some cases folks do, you will not be able to use your existing Echo to get K4 information. You have to use this specific model because it is configured to work with K4. Now, it's not to say that you have to get rid of yours. You just can't have two Echoes with the same name, right? So the wake word for this one is Alexa. We could change it to something else so that you don't have competing Echoes in your home trying to answer you. And we don't know what cost. There will be a cost. We don't know what it is. It might be $20 a month is what we think would cover our costs for this, but we'll get more information once we believe that it's a solid product and it's going to be able to just expand our communication channel, which is what we're trying to do. Exciting, right? Yeah. Two more things. Let's see. We are.
Quick question first, two things. One, are Alexa and Echo the same thing? One just taller, one short?
Yeah, no. It's Amazon Echo is the product. Alexa is her name. It's what you call her to wake her up to talk back.
So a tall one is just another model?
Yeah, it's just another model. Yeah.
And the other thing, before you were talking about getting your own TV servers, do you still get channel 102 with whatever service you get?
No, if you subscribe to another service, you wouldn't. You wouldn't get channel 102. However, subscribing to a separate TV service like the ones I mentioned won't interfere with channel 102. That will still be available. Yeah. Okay. Along the lines of expanding our communication, our various vehicles to communicate, we're looking at a broadcast system. We're testing a software now that will give us the ability to a technology that will call your telephone and read some predetermined script. Right, think about that. We could use something like this for like weather advisories, whatever it is that we need to communicate to the whole community at one time. So we're starting to look at that to see what would be the use cases, how practical would it be to use it in certain situations. But I just want you to know that we heard that we need to further expand those various vehicles to get info out. And we think there's something there with an automated system that will call your phone and read a recording. Yes?
One of the things that I'd hope that this will enable us to do is when there's an emergency, for us to have information about what the emergency is and what we need to do. Because right now, once the emergency system goes off, there's no information until somebody says all clear,
Right.
and we would like to know. We would like to know more.
Yep, and we've heard that, and that's what I mean by we have to further explore how practical this system might be, right? Because in the middle of an emergency, our folks are responding. They're not thinking of going to a computer system to send off a broadcast message to everyone's phones. However, there might be opportunity once the event is over, right, to send some sort of message, whatever that might be. So we need to really talk about that and explore what opportunities does this type of technology provide for us and you.
Raphael, I know you've heard this before, but we have an existing PA system here that we don't control. But it is a PA system that reaches the hallways and everybody can hear it. Isn't there a way to interrupt that PA system to announce certain messages?
I can't speak to, I know of the system. It's where you currently hear the all clear. Whether everyone can hear that in their apartment, I don't know. We'd have to sort of learn a little bit more about that. And I'm not familiar with any type of Connecticut code regarding using a system designed specifically for fire for public announcement. So we would have to consider that as well. But we know the tech is there, we just have to explore if that is an option.
Thank you.
Yeah. For me, a phone call is a better option, right? But we'll check it out. Okay, and the very last thing is scams. I don't know about you, but over the past month, I have received at least 3 text messages that I owe tolls, right? And I'm going to put Nick out there. He's probably watching. They're so good that our own Nick Ricciardi fell for it, okay? And he had to cancel his debit card. So it's made the news. It's obviously it's gained traction. Best practice is to never click on a link that you receive in an email or a text message unless you can 100% validate that it's real. And that's very hard to do because some of these messages sound convincing. But you have to sort of ask yourself these questions in the moment. Did I travel outside of Connecticut? Does the toll company typically text me? Or do I get a bill in the mail? I get a bill in the mail with a photo of my car passing through the toll, right? I get that. So don't fall for these things, right? Microsoft, Apple, McAfee, Norton, nobody is monitoring your devices. Nobody is monitoring your computers, right? Messages that they've noticed something or that your McAfee subscription is going to expire. They're scams. They're all scams. If you're uncertain, what you need to do is navigate yourself to that vendor, to that provider. Don't click on a link. If you suspect that your antivirus software is expiring because you got an email, you should navigate to your software vendor's website and validate that for yourself, right? There's a lot of money to be made with these scams. This is why they do it. Some of them are very, very convincing. And the one thing to take away regarding a scam, the scam will only work if you fall for it. So the tactics are to get an emotional response out of people because they want to trigger something emotionally in your head before you have the opportunity to think about it. So you'll get warning, right? There's always a call of action to do something, otherwise something negative will occur. If you don't validate your email will stop. If you don't pay this bill, you're going to be put in collections. If you don't contact the IRS immediately, you're going to get arrested, right? It's a fear tactic because they want that emotional baiting is what we call it. So just think about that. We teach this to our team members. You have to just stop and just think about this for a sec before reacting. Yes.
Raphael, it's important not to call a number that comes in on a telephone number, as well as not clicking on a link. You should not call a telephone number that might be provided in the
Yeah,
the
scammers today, thank you, they have the ability to spoof anyone's email, and they have the ability to change their caller ID. I get scams from people from Comcast, and it comes across as Yale New Haven Health on my phone. I don't answer the phone, frankly. I don't recognize the number. I leave a voicemail. I'll listen to it later and figure out if it's real. Yes, Herb.
Okay, I'd like to take this opportunity to remind people there's something called a computer clinic that I run. And every time we have one, if there's some new novel kind of scam, to inoculate you against it, we talk about those new scam messages to encourage you to know what's coming, and so you can avoid the emotional response and start thinking sooner than you would otherwise. So please look out for the computer clinic schedules, you're always welcome to attend. They're by Zoom as well as in person in the business center. And also there are recordings that are put out in K4. So if you're not able to make the Monday morning computer clinics, there's always the recording that you can listen to later.
Yep, yeah. Herb's got a great class every Monday at 10. Every other Monday at 10, yeah. And I watch them, they're very, very good. And I want to tag on, because Melissa spoke about transportation and various options. Along with the Echo, the integration with the Echo and K4, what is on the horizon after this first phase is integration with the Echo and Uber and Instacart. So we're looking at the ability for you to order transportation through Uber by just asking the Echo and order food via Instacart. So that's on the horizon as well.
I have a question about when we are asked to enter a password to get on to, now I'm blocking if I want to go to a recorded something on, is it? You know what I'm talking about.
So it's, okay, what's going on is when through K4, when you go to watch perhaps this recording, right? Sometimes you are met with a message from YouTube that says, sign in to ensure you're not a bot. You all see this on channel 102 as well. Google has changed their security measures because the way Google owns YouTube. I'm going to try to get through this quickly, so I'm going to speak a little quick. YouTube, the people that record videos on YouTube, they monetize videos. Most of them are there to make money from the videos that they upload and to gain viewership, subscribers. Because if I have a YouTube channel and I get 1 million people to follow me on my channel, advertisers will now be interested in me and they'll pay me to run their ads on my channel, right? It's all about money. But YouTube is now, because everything is monetized and they want real people watching content, what they're doing is they're able to determine now that when someone is watching a video through K4, that it's not a human. It's not like a human going to YouTube, searching for a video and watching it. It recognizes that this is an automated process and it's blocking it. And the only way to get around that is for every individual is to have your own YouTube account. It's free. If you have a Gmail account, you already have a YouTube account. So all that to say is we want you to be able to watch the videos in K4, and if you're having an error, if you get that error, reach out to IT and we will assist you to make sure that you get a YouTube account and you can continue to watch those videos. I'm going to just take one more question because I've been up here a long time and I know we've got quite a few more folks. So go for it.
If I get an email that looks to me like junk, I move it to junk. Does my phone then, if I get future emails from that particular organization, does it know to mark it as scam?
Your email itself?
Yeah.
Most email systems can filter out what they deem as malware or things that are out to get you. But it's very difficult when it's just typical spam, like advertisements. Most times you have to mark those items yourself as junk so that they don't fill your inbox. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and schedule an event where we're going to spend about an hour, hour and a half just talking about scams. And I think we'll host it here in the CAC, and we'll go through all the various things that we're seeing and field all these types of questions, okay? So we'll schedule it. I'm going to leave it there so I can invite Dan Zula to come on up. But I'll be here if you have questions.
Hi, everybody. The first thing I'd like to discuss, we've had a couple complaints about construction noise throughout the campus. We are currently looking into our forms of communication with that, and how we can be better to communicate certain areas, certain things, how that all works out. I know Kara Ronnie does send out a memo every Friday, and that may be able to be adjusted. Maybe there's a different way to communicate, and we're looking into that. In the meantime, there are common spaces that you can go to if there's something close to your apartment. That's what many people do. I feel like I'm speaking pretty slowly, but I'll try my best here. The second thing I'd like to talk about is the power loss. I know that event that we had on that big snowstorm, ice storm day a few weeks back created a lot of questions. We do have a safety guide that is on K4. It is under the resource section. Will Alexa be able to get to that? Can Alexa get to the safety guide if you ask it to go read that? No. Well, I tried. But that's where you can go get that information. That's going to tell you what's on generator power and what is not on generator power, so that you're informed of what inside your apartment, what inside the bistro, what inside the community you can expect during a power outage. One of the items that came up during that was also communication. And like Raf was just talking about, the different forms of communication during a power outage. We are bringing that to the Safety Council for discussion. So I don't have any answers or anything like that now, but we are bringing that to the Safety Council to have that meeting. One thing I can tell you is in reference to the loudspeaker and things like that. If you are in danger, if there's a legitimate threat in this community, we would use all means necessary to communicate that out to you. 99.9% of these events are not an actual threat and an actual emergency, so we need the time to facilitate that and then communicate after. And I know that frustrates some of you, and that's why we are bringing this to this committee to have that discussion. The last thing that I'd like to talk about is this is my last town hall, as I am leaving Whitney Center. I am leaving Whitney. I didn't expect that response, but I didn't get cheers from the maintenance guys though. April 3rd is my last day, and I want to be very clear that this decision was not easy for me, and I have loved my time here. I've been here about 8 years, and this is a decision about my family, and I have an opportunity to spend more time with my family. And it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with Whitney Center. Whitney Center has really been good to me, and you all have been good to me, and the people over there, and everybody's been so good to me. And there's zero negativity from my end. When most people leave jobs, they can't wait to get out, and they can't wait for a new beginning. That's not the case here. And I want to thank you all for your support and the conversations we've all had. That is what's kept me here, and when my daughters were born, and the knitted hats, the scarves, the conversations, the advice, I'd come into work after a sleepless night, and everybody knows I'm yawning every 5 seconds, and people who've been there and understand, and the positivity with that, and just every step along the way, I've had different roles here, I've had different opportunities here. And you've all supported me every single step. And these people have supported me every step. And, I know Mike comes up here often and talks about growing people and growing, the staff in this community and all the different things that philanthropy tries to do. And we have so many different programs. And I'm a product of all of that positive, reinforcement and a product of opportunities. And there was something I read the other day that said, imagine yourself 10 years ago, what were your hopes and dreams? Did you achieve any of them? Where did you go? And I remember 10 years ago, I wished for an opportunity. That's really what I wished for. I was a young guy. I felt like I could do anything, but I just needed an opportunity to show that I could do that. this place gave me that, you know? So I hope to talk to you all, you know, before I leave, and I hope I'm welcome back. And, you know, I'd like to come back, and I know when Lawrence Downs has his steel drum band here on the weekends, I'd love to come see that and all that. But right now, I'd really like to use this last opportunity I have to really talk about, you know, the people that have been a part of my team for a couple, you know, quite a few years, and you know, all the people in the back of the room, Mike Lutz, Ed Capola, Bill, Suzanne, Mel, John. It's been so easy to work with them every day, and you know, the laughs we have in the mornings, the conversations we have, the meetings we have, a lot of laughs at each other's expense, and that's the good stuff. You know, it's those little moments that make you want to come to work, that make this a community, as those are words that we use in partnerships, and it's been an easy going of it. And they do the work. They are in your apartments. They are around this community. We've built such a strong foundation and together, and we've been with each other for, I've known a lot of these guys for 8 years, and you know, they've been so good to me, and I want to thank you all publicly of how good you've been to me, and I really appreciate you, and I hope you all support them, you know, as they continue here, like you've supported me, and you know, there was one thing that I want to end with is, you know, there's a quote from Simon Sinek, who's one of my favorite public speakers, and he says, "People don't buy what you do, they buy how you do it." And it's how we do things that people get behind or don't get behind. You know, a product is a product. Anybody could go fix your toilet. We can all go fix your toilet. You know, but how do we do things? How do we exist here? How do we coexist here? And that's what makes it special. So, thank you all.
Good morning. I'm not scheduled to come up, but I couldn't let this opportunity pass to say thank you, Dan. Seriously, to watch you grow, to be involved with your growth these past 8 years has been a true privilege. And while I know many of you out there don't like change, and it's sad to see people we care about, we love, leave us. It is with great pride and just I just consider it a blessing to have worked with you, Dan, to really been able to see you grow this way, and so I wish you all the best, you and your family. You know, since for years you've talked about how important it is for you to be a good father and a good husband, and so for you to take the opportunity to do that, it just makes me really proud. And to the team, to Dan's team, thank you all. You've all been stepping up. Over the past couple of months especially, Dan and Kara have been working with their teams to bring them together, to collaborate more, to create a better partnership. And it's working. It is really working. I'm proud of you guys. Just yesterday, Dan was sitting in a meeting with us, thinking about how this looks going forward. What are the plans, and what you know? How should we think about the work? You know, every time someone takes an opportunity like this, or there's a change akin to this, we try to look at the opportunities that are in front of us, not simply to do more of the same, but rather how can we leverage what we've learned these past 8 years with Dan to do better. And so that's the context of our conversation as to how we're going to go forward. And so Dan is involved in helping us shape that. And one of the things he highlighted, he really emphasized, was the skill set and the capability of his team. and how you guys have grown, how you come together, how you work together as a team, along with the broader construction and special projects team. And that weighs a great deal in terms of how we decide to move forward. And so I say that to all the residents and our team members, hopefully as a measure of comfort to you, that while Dan's leaving us, he has left us in a place, he is leaving us in a place where we have much more capacity, higher skill sets, the ability to do more, to do better. And just to bring it to a close, because I could probably ramble on for a while, to go back to Maria's opening about geese, I'm actually pretty familiar with the V formation of geese and the aerodynamics that are involved. And so 2 additional facts, Maria. The front goose creates 50% lift, more lift for the geese behind it. So that results in a 20 to 30% reduced energy expenditure of each subsequent goose. Dan's lift that he's created by leading this team has made it easier for this team to continue traveling forward. And I just think it's just a wonderful visual of the good place that we're in, because we're going to keep flying. So thanks, Dan.
All right, a lot of talk about geese. And Dan said something. He said, anyone could change your toilet. You do not want me changing your toilet, okay? With that, I would like to bring up Lynn from Dining Services.
Good morning, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lynn Nastri. I'm the Dining Services Manager, and this is Chef Mike D'Orazio. Okay. I'm going to outbeat Sean today. So the first one, what kind of potato makes the best detective? One that has his eyes peeled. Okay, number 2, how do you fix a broken tomato? With tomato paste. All right, I'll have to work on some better ones for next month. All right, here's the report from dining. First up, the bistro. We wanted to inform you of an upcoming change to our dining services that will affect you for a short period of time. Starting Monday, April 7th, our bistro will be temporarily closed for necessary construction and upgrades. We are excited about the upcoming enhancements and believe it will greatly improve your dining experience. What to expect? Temporary dining arrangements. During this time, we will provide alternate dining options to ensure the meals are served in a comfortable and convenient setting. All meals will be served in center stage, as well as the nightly buffet will continue in the pub. Dining Services is in the process of putting together a specialized menu during this time of construction. We will have that out shortly. Timeline. The construction is expected to last approximately 1 month. We will keep you updated as the project progresses. Notifications will go out through all proper channels during this construction time. Center stage. We have a special menu for St. Patrick's Day. Please call for reservations as they're starting to get filled. Easter. We will be offering an Easter brunch in center stage. Please look out for the menu and details to come in the next week or so. Reservations will be opened up as well in another week or so. Seatings for the Easter brunch will be 12, 1, and 2 p.m. As far as the bistro construction and our seasonal menu in center stage, We have decided to put our energy into the bistro construction and making sure that meals are going forward in the proper way. So we have decided to put the seasonal menu on hold for now until the bistro project is complete. As far as the seasonal menu goes, we did have quite a few questions, concerns, and confusion about it. So I just wanted to clarify a few things. The seasonal menu has 6 entrees and 2 appetizers, which during our soft openings, people enjoyed as an entree. There will be weekly and nightly specials added to this seasonal menu. The left side of the menu will be available. That side has 7 entrees, so there will be a total of at least 16 or more entrees for you to choose from on a nightly basis. There will be 2 to 3 soups available nightly, as well as 6 to 7 desserts nightly. During our soft opening, we did not utilize the left side as we felt it important for us to concentrate on our new menu as well as for training purposes for our team members. But do know we will have the left side available as well. The pub. We will continue to have our nightly buffet during the bistro enhancements. Bistro. Espresso machine is in the works. We should have a new one shortly. As far as feedback goes, we've had a recent influx of comments from our last meeting. If you remember correctly, I had said that we had, the feedbacks were coming slow and few and far between. We've definitely seen an influx on them. Most of it was towards the seasonal menu. So hopefully I've answered those questions. Some of the trends that we have been seeing were service in center stage continues to improve. There's too much pepper in the soup in the bistro. We have received several comments on this, so we have taken this to the dining committee and will work with them to address this issue. The pub needs another person. We heard you on this. We have trained several new team members over in the pub, so you will now have 2 team members serving the pub moving forward. And that is my short and concise report. Thank you. Any questions? Yes, Mr. Cladney.
One very quick question. Could you describe what you mean by soft opening? Because I don't understand.
Sure. So a soft opening is when we don't, it's for us to work out all the kinks with the new menu. We didn't just want to put the new menu out there and move forward. So we want to do a soft opening, which is to help enhance your service and to make sure that anything that we can see that's going wrong with either an entree or backup in the kitchen, that type of thing, with training of the team members. So we call it, the industry calls it a soft opening. So it's not usually like a grand opening. So we keep it quieter and work on the things from there. Yes. Okay, yeah. You're welcome. Any other questions? Mr. Adnapos?
Any changes in the unit delivery system for the food?
The delivery will still be, we will still be having the delivery, yes, absolutely. No change to that. Any other questions? All right, thank you. Michelle. Bringing up Michelle Ackerman.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michelle Ackerman. I am currently the Director of Nurses in the Health Center, soon to be, I think, the lead goose for the clinical team. So I have a couple things to report today. As of April, we do have 2 options more that we will offer in the wellness under clinics. First one is optometry. So Dr. Victor Richardson will be joining us here once a month. And for dental, we have Dr. Diane Acavelli and hygienist Mary Ten. The Wellness Center has the forms, so if you'd wish to sign up for a clinic, they did let us know that they want us to start getting some names before they'll schedule a date, but they are going to be joining us in April, so we're going to add those 2 clinics to our current listing of clinics. So that's exciting news. What I was asked to give a report on from resident council was respiratory illness. So currently, we have 2 residents who are on active quarantine, and we have 4 who have moved past that active phase and are just on monitoring. So they're not in quarantine, they're on monitoring, and those are 4. If you have respiratory symptoms, community nursing is asked that you notify them. They have test kits. We purchase kits that are, they're calling them ABC kits. I don't know if you've seen them on the news. They do flu A, they do flu B, and they do COVID, ABC. And it's a one-shot rapid swab, so you don't have to wait 24, 48 hours to find out if you've got any of those illnesses. So it's a rapid test. Notify community nursing. They will provide those tests to you. It is a cost of $24. The reason we are putting a cost to that is that the government is no longer sending us the rapid kits for free like they did during the pandemic. So we do have to go out and purchase those. Anybody have any questions? No one? All right, thank you very much. Next, I'll bring up Ken.
Folks, I'm going to turn off the closed caption because Ken is going to present some images, and it's a little tricky to have both running. So you're going to grab this guy. You can flip your image there. You're going to grab that mic. Don't break it.
I won't break it. Thanks, Raf. Raf's my tech assistant here. I appreciate it. So I'm Ken Sandberg, Vice President of our Lifestyle Services, and a special thanks to Mrs. Gelstead. Where's Mrs. Gelstead? Special thanks to Mrs. Gelstead. She recommended that we do this at the town meeting, and it was a great suggestion. This has to do with traffic calming on Leader Hill Drive. So many of you drive it, many of you walk it, and we've all seen how fast people go down there. And I'm going to be talking really slow because Herb reminds everybody of that, and I do not want to see that sign. So that's my goal. That's one of my goals. A couple of years ago, after we purchased Meadow Mills, there was a lot of conversation about people wanting to walk back and forth. And I believe Hal Cohen was one of the first people. Is Hal here? Hal Cohen was one of the first people that mentioned that, wow, we need to get a crosswalk. We need to do something on Leader Hill. So that prompted us to write a proposal to the town through the Traffic Commission. And so Whitney Center wrote a proposal. And I went to the Traffic Commission and presented it. And at that time, they were putting all pauses on traffic calming throughout Camden because they wanted to come up with a framework and a process of how to prioritize. And after they did that, sure enough, Whitney Center, Leader Hill Drive was one of the top priorities. So it takes a while, as you know, anytime you're dealing with state government, town government, federal government, things can take a long time, but things do end up happening. And so I am really, really happy to let you know that there will be traffic calming on Leader Hill this year. We went last week or the week before, we went to a presentation by Stephen White, who is the Hampton Town engineer, to see what they're proposing. Esther Crystal, where's Esther? Esther and I went in person. I know Carol Gelstead and Hal were online, and we were all available to ask questions. So let me just quickly try to show you some of the things here. So Raph, where's the that guy right there? Oh, perfect. Oh, this is great. Okay, so let's see. This is these right here. When you see these are all called speed humps. Okay, so there's going to be about 6 of them. This is not all of Leader Hill, but this is just showing some of the sections. This is our upper deck of our parking garage. So this shows you basically all along Leader Hill, there's going to be around 6 speed humps. So in what Stephen White stated, the engineer, was that they're going to be about 400 to 500 feet apart from each other, because based on their calculations, once people go over it, it's hard to catch up the speed until you hit the next one. So that's really the theory behind it. So it just to follow, this is the north entrance. This is the north parking garage. So there's a speed hump here. There's a speed hump back there. There's a speed hump here. There's a speed hump here. So you can see there's going to be plenty of speed humps in front of Whitney Center. So the next photo, oh, perfect. So the crosswalk. So this is the proposed crosswalk. So as you can see, this is Meadow Mills right in here, heading into the driveway. This is our garage. This is that service entrance there, right there. And this is where the proposed crosswalk is going to be. And what they're doing here, they're actually narrowing the roadway. And so that's a form of how to slow traffic down by narrowing the roadway. And it was Stephen White's presentation was actually pretty cool. He talked about different types of speed reduction, and narrowing the roadway is one of them. So, and then Then what we're going to do here, what he's going to do here, it's going to be raised actually. So it's just not flat, it's going to be raised. And there's also going to be signage around it as well. They're going to be putting all the signage. The question was, sometimes you can actually press a button and things will be flashing. That's in the works too, but they're waiting for some monies, some state or federal monies for that. So the first phase will not have that, but I believe that will be coming, if not this year, the following year. But for now, it will be raised. There'll be tons of signage around it here. And that just shows a different angle of the walk across from Whitney Center to Meadow Mills. And again, there'll be plenty of signage. So I want to show everybody that. So I will take questions if you have any.
Thanks. In looking at that diagram and having walked on these paths, one of the issues for the pedestrian is visibility. And it looks like this is right around the curb, which is the place where you're less likely to see oncoming traffic in each direction.
Yeah.
So is that the best place to put a walkway?
So we actually brought that to Steve. I actually brought that to Steve's attention, and because we originally wanted over here, it's a little bit more visible. But he said they looked at it and they're throwing in some speed humps over here too, so that will actually slow down traffic as well. So he did look at that, and we did raise the question with him on that as well. And we can double check with him on that, but there should be a speed hump right in around, let's see. Yeah, I'll ask him if there's a speed hump here, and I'll follow up with him if there's going to be another speed hump right around that corner.
I'm still concerned about pedestrian, not vehicle traffic. and visibility for pedestrians.
Yeah.
And even though there's signage, cars will still come. Has there thought been given to stop signs or other things that would actually slow the traffic to the point in which you can see it before it comes around that bend?
Yeah.
That's the great concern. What about the pedestrians?
Yeah, yeah. So we'll certainly I have Steve's email. We'll certainly ask him about the possibility of even putting a stop sign there. So I will certainly ask him that question. Anything we can do to slow the traffic down. Agreed.
Pedestrian visibility.
Yes, exactly. Yep, got it. Thank you. Oh, hold on 1 second.
Excuse me.
There, I think I thought I saw a speed hump on one of your slides that's on the curve. It's not in that slide.
Yeah, there's
Maybe it's the one after that, but there was.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a.
Yeah, there's something right here along the curve. So you're right. There's something right there, right before the curve. There's a speed hump. So that will slow it down. But I'll ask about stop signs. Why not? They're already putting a bunch of signage up there. Yeah, well, the stop sign by the walk is for the pedestrian. So I get that. I get that. Yes, Elaine, hold on 1 second.
Was any consideration given to creating an elevated pedestrian walkway across the road?
Elevated, you mean literally going over the road?
Yes.
I don't believe there was. I can ask Steve, but I would imagine that that's to get up and over would be quite a feat to walk up and over. They are elevating this section here, but to go up and over, I'm not sure if that would work, but.
There may be a negative to that because the person has to be able to walk up
Yeah.
the stairs to get to an over.
Yeah.
So there's two sides
Yeah,
to that.
yeah, agreed.
Was there any thought to having like a walk light?
Yeah. So there was, and there still is, that's still on the table where you can actually press something and it shows that pedestrians walking. So there is, that's actually on the table. Steve mentioned that they're waiting for some state funding for that. So that is actually, if I didn't say that clearly enough in the very beginning, for pedestrian walk stop sign, that's still on the table as well. It just might not be in the first phase.
Ken, I think he had indicated to us that that kind of a sign would cost like $20,000 to $30,000.
Yeah.
And so they'd have to seek grant funding for that. Considering the politics of the time, I question whether we're going to see any federal money for anything like that in the near future. And I question then whether the state would be able, so it would be trying to go out and trying to find grant funding for something that's that pricey. But with all of the speed pumps that are going to be on the straightaway around ACES and the daycare centers, and then the ones on the curve as you come around towards Whitney Center, I think that really is going to help slow people down. And then with the narrowing of the roadway at the crosswalk, I think it really will slow people down, which is going to be better than what we've got right now.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, agreed. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Still available. I will pass on some of these comments to Steve White, let him know that, there's still concern for the pedestrian, really making sure that that speed hump right here, and maybe they can even do a double one. I'll talk to him about that to really slow the traffic down for pedestrians. So more to follow on this, but I just want to thank our residents, too, that have been part of this. It's really been a community effort. So thank you, everybody. And that ends it for the town. Oh.
If you're looking for an official end of the meeting, this is it. All right, bye-bye.